The Galactic Council's massive warship hung in the void above Earth, like a silver needle against black silk. Inside its command bridge, Admiral Crix studied the blue planet below with his 4 eyes. His species, the Varians, had conquered 100 worlds. Earth would be number 101. Such a small world, Crix said to his second-in-command, Officer Dax. Our scouts report they call themselves humans. Primitive technology. They've barely left their own solar system. Dax's tentacles curled in amusement. The Council wants. Used to offer them surrender terms first, Admiral. Standard protocol for primitive species. Send the message, Crix ordered. Tell them they have 1 rotation of their planet to surrender. If they refuse, we take the planet by force. The message went out across all Earth frequencies. Every television, radio, and internet connection received the same ultimatum. People of Earth, you have 24 hours to surrender to the Galactic Council. Resistance will result in immediate conquest. You cannot win against our superior forces. Down on Earth, in a military bunker deep underground, General Tom Walker read the message for the 5th time. Around him, his staff waited for orders. The room smelled of coffee and fear. "Sir, what do we do?" asked Major Lisa Park. "Their ship is the size of Manhattan. Our weapons can't even scratch it." Tom stood up slowly. At 60 years old, he'd seen enough wars to know when conventional tactics wouldn't work. But humans had. Something the aliens didn't understand yet. "Major, remember what happened when those colonists got stranded on Mars for 2 years with no supplies?" Tom asked. "They survived, sir. Built an entire underground city from nothing but rocks and recycled. Waste." "Exactly." Tom turned to face his team. "These aliens think we're weak because our technology is inferior. But they don't know what we are. We're the species that evolved on a death world. We breathe poison oxygen. We live on a planet with earthquakes, hurricanes, and predators. We survived ice ages with nothing but fire and sharp sticks." Captain Bob Jones, the youngest officer present, raised his hand. "Sir, are you suggesting we actually fight them?" "No, Captain. I'm suggesting we show them what humans really are." Tom smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant smile. "Send a message. Back. Tell them we accept their terms for a meeting. But we choose the location." 20 hours later, a small human shuttle approached the Varian warship. Inside sat 3 humans. Tom, Lisa, and Bob. They wore simple spacesuits, no weapons, no armor. The Varians scanned them thoroughly before allowing them aboard. Admiral Crix waited in the meeting chamber, surrounded by 50 armed guards. The humans looked so fragile, so weak. They were bipedal, with only 2 eyes, no natural armor, no claws. How had such creatures even survived to achieve spaceflight? "You have come to surrender?" Crix asked through his translator. Tom stepped forward. "We've come to negotiate." "There is no negotiation. Surrender or be conquered. I need you to understand." "Something first," Tom said calmly. He reached into his pocket slowly, pulling out a small glass vial. The Varian guards raised their weapons. "Relax," Tom said. "It's just water. From Earth." He held it up to the light. "This contains billions of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, things that would kill most species in your council within hours. But we swim in it. We drink it. Our children play in it." Crix's translator buzzed with confusion. "You drink poison?" "We drink lots of things that would kill you," Lisa added. "We eat fermented foods full of bacteria. We keep predators as pets. We jump out of aircraft for fun. We poison ourselves with alcohol and caffeine recreationally." Bob pulled up a tablet, showing videos. "This is called extreme sports. Humans doing things for entertainment that would be considered suicide attempts on your worlds. The Varians watched humans jumping off cliffs, wrestling with predators, setting themselves on fire for stunts. Their universal translator struggled with words like skydiving and bungee jumping. "You're insane," Dax whispered. "Your entire species is insane." "No," Tom corrected. "We're survivors. We're the children of a death world. And if you attack us, you won't be facing soldiers. You'll be facing a species that thinks jumping out of perfectly good spacecraft is fun." Now, let's discuss those terms. Again, Admiral Crix stared at the humans in disbelief. His tactical mind, trained through centuries of conquest, couldn't process what he was seeing. These creatures claimed their own planet was trying to kill them, and they laughed about it. "You speak of surrender, yet you show us these activities," Crix said carefully. "This changes nothing. We have superior firepower." Tom nodded. "You're right. Your weapons are better. Your ships are faster. Your technology is centuries ahead of ours." He paused. "But let me ask you something, Admiral. What's the most hostile environment your species can survive in without life support?" Crix's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Varians can tolerate temperatures from -20 to 45 degrees in your measurement system. Beyond that, we require environmental suits." Lisa laughed. It wasn't meant to be rude, but she couldn't help it. "Humans live permanently in places that get to -60 degrees. Others live where it reaches 55 degrees. We've climbed mountains where the air is so thin, most species would die in minutes." "Impossible," Dax interjected. "No intelligent species could evolve under such conditions." Bob pulled up more data on his tablet. "Want to know something really fun? We have a sport called marathon running. Humans run 42 kilometers without stopping, just to see if they can. Our ancestors used to hunt by, chasing animals until they died of exhaustion." The room fell silent. Several Varian guards exchanged worried glances through their helmets. Tom continued. "We've studied your council's records. You've conquered peaceful worlds, agricultural species, merchants and scholars. But you've never fought a Deathworld species before, have you?" Crix's skin shifted colors, a sign of deep thought among Varians. "The Council classifies Deathworlds as uninhabitable. No intelligent life could possibly—" "Wrong," Tom interrupted. "We're proof that you're wrong. And here's what you need to understand. Every human is born a survivor. We don't need training to be dangerous. It's in our DNA." To demonstrate, Lisa picked up a metal cup from the meeting table. With her bare hands, she bent it into a twisted shape. The Varians stepped back. Their own grip strength was a fraction of that. "Our bones are made of calcium reinforced with living tissue that constantly repairs itself," she explained. "We can lose up to 40% of our blood and keep fighting. We can break bones and keep moving. Pain doesn't stop us. It makes us angry." Captain Bob added, "We have a saying on Earth. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We literally seek out challenges that might kill us, just to become tougher." Crix's second-in-command whispered something urgent in their native language. Tom's translator picked up fragments. "Dangerous, unstable, reconsider." "Admiral," Tom said, his voice becoming serious, "we don't want war. But if you force our hand, you need to know what you're getting into. Humans don't just fight to win. We fight with everything we have. We'll turn cargo ships into weapons. We'll ram your vessels with civilian craft if we have to. Every man, woman, and child on Earth will resist. You would sacrifice civilians?" Crix asked, horrified. "In Council warfare, civilians were always evacuated first. Sacrifice?" Tom shook his head. "They'd volunteer. During our last World War, entire cities being bombed didn't surrender. Instead, children collected scrap metal to build more weapons. Farmers turned fertilizer into explosives. Teachers became spies. That's what you're up against. The Admiral's tactical display suddenly lit up with alerts. Hundreds of Earth vessels were launching not military ships, but everything. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, private shuttles, even old satellites reactivated and armed with improvised weapons. What is this? Crix demanded. That's Earth getting ready, Tom said simply. We sent word before we came here. If these negotiations fail, every human who can fly anything is ready to fight. You might win, Admiral, but we'll make sure you remember the cost forever. Lisa pulled up a historical record. This is Stalingrad, one of our cities, totally destroyed in a war. The defenders held it for months, fighting in the rubble, starving, freezing. They won by being more stubborn than death itself. Bob added the final point, and that was against other humans. Imagine what we'd do against an alien invasion. The meeting chamber's atmosphere had completely changed. The Varians, who had entered confident in their superiority, now looked uncertain. Their weapons were still raised, but their grip had loosened. Admiral Crix studied the tactical display again. The human vessels were laughably primitive compared to his warship. But there were so many of them, and if these humans were even half as resilient as they claimed, I need to consult with the Council. Crix said finally, asterisk. 3 hours passed before Admiral Crix returned to the meeting chamber. His 4 eyes showed signs of stress, a deep purple tinge that Tom's research had identified as worry. The Council's response had clearly not been what the Admiral expected. The Council, Crix began slowly, believes you are exaggerating. They think no species could be as you describe. They demand proof. Tom exchanged glances with Lisa and Bob. They had anticipated this. What kind of proof? Lisa asked. A demonstration of combat. The Council will send their champion warrior to face one of your humans in single combat. Non-lethal, but without restrictions otherwise. If your warrior wins, we will reconsider. If ours wins, Earth surrenders immediately. Bob started to protest, but Tom raised his hand for silence. We accept. When? Now, Crix replied. The Council's champion is already aboard this ship. Within an hour, the cargo bay had been cleared and converted into an arena. Word had somehow spread through both fleets, and screens across Earth were broadcasting the feed. Humanity held its breath. The Council's champion entered first. The creature stood 3 meters tall, covered in natural armor plating. It had 6 arms, each ending in razor-sharp claws. This was a Torgan from a high-gravity world bred for war. I am Warrior Prime Gorth, the champion announced. I have never lost a battle in 200 cycles. Tom turned to his companions. I'll fight. No, Lisa said firmly. You're 60 years old and you're our lead negotiator. Bob? Bob was already shaking his head. I'm a tech specialist, not a fighter. Lisa sighed and started removing her outer suit. Guess it's me then. She stepped into the arena wearing only her basic uniform. No armor, no weapons. The crowd of alien observers murmured in disbelief. Gorth looked insulted. You send a small female with no protection? This is mockery. Lisa stretched her arms and cracked her neck. I'm a Marine, actually. Did 2 tours in Afghanistan. But sure. Let's go with small female. Admiral Crix announced the rules. Combat continues until one combatant yields or cannot continue. No weapons, no killing blows. Begin. Gorth charged immediately, all 6 arms swinging. He was fast for his size. Deadly precise. His first swing would have decapitated most species. Lisa ducked under it, rolled forward, and drove her knee into what she hoped was a knee joint. The crack was audible throughout the cargo bay. Gorth stumbled but didn't fall. Humans have this thing, Lisa said, dancing backward as Gorth recovered. We calculate weak points instinctively. It's how we hunted megafauna with pointed sticks. Gorth roared and charged again. This time Lisa didn't dodge. She grabbed one of his arms, used his momentum against him, and threw him over her shoulder. The alien warrior hit the deck with a crash that shook the entire bay. The watching aliens gasped. Gorth weighed at least 300 kilograms in Earth gravity. Adrenaline. Lisa explained to the stunned crowd as Gorth struggled to rise. It's a chemical our bodies produce in danger. Makes us stronger, faster, numbs pain. We basically have combat drugs built into our biology. Gorth got up, more cautious now. They circled each other. The Torgan's natural armor made him nearly invulnerable to strikes, but Lisa wasn't targeting his armor. She was watching how he moved, how he breathed. When he attacked again, she was ready. She grabbed two of his arms, twisted her body, and brought her elbow down on the joint of a third. Something cracked. Gorth screamed and pulled back, one arm hanging useless. We also heal really fast, Lisa continued, wiping blood from a cut on her cheek. And we're persistence hunters. I can do this all day. For 20 more minutes, the fight continued. Gorth was stronger, better armed by nature, and trained from Earth for combat. But Lisa was something he'd never encountered. A creature that got more dangerous the more damaged it became. Every injury seemed to make her faster, more aggressive. When she finally put him down with a chokehold that even his redundant breathing systems couldn't overcome, the cargo bay was silent. Gorth tapped out, gasping something in his own language that the translators rendered as yield. Lisa helped him up. Good fight, she said, offering her hand. Gorth stared at it, then at her, with something approaching respect. Admiral Crix's voice broke the silence. The Council is watching this transmission. They are reconsidering their position. Tom stepped forward. Tell them this. Lisa isn't even our best fighter. She's just a regular Marine. We have millions like her, and each one would fight just as hard to protect Earth. The Council's emergency session had been running for 6 hours. Admiral Crix stood before the assembled representatives of 47 species, the cargo bay fight playing on repeat behind him. The image of a single human defeating their greatest warrior had shaken the very foundation of their understanding. Explain. This again, demanded Councillor Vex of the Altarians. How does a species evolve on such a hostile world? Crix pulled up Earth's data. Their planet has unstable tectonics, causing earthquakes and volcanoes. The climate shifts dramatically. Predators hunted them for millions of years. Diseases that would exterminate most of us are things their children survive routinely. And they consider this normal? Asked Councillor Zara. Worse, Crix replied. They're proud of it. They call Earth Mother and speak of her with affection, even as she tries to kill them daily. Back on the human shuttle, Tom was receiving updates from Earth. The response to Lisa's victory had been immediate and overwhelming. Every military base reported volunteers flooding in. Civilians were converting anything that could fly into potential weapons. Even more disturbing to the aliens monitoring Earth's communications, children were drawing pictures of themselves. Fighting aliens and winning. Lisa, nursing a bruised rib, looked at the reports. Tom, look at this. The factories that make cars are asking if they should switch to making weapons. Tell them to wait, Tom replied. I think we're getting through. To them, Bob was studying the alien database they'd been given access to. This is interesting. Every species the Council has conquered had one thing in common. They evolved on paradise worlds. Stable climates, few predators, abundant resources. Makes sense, Lisa said. If you don't have to fight to survive, you develop differently. Communication came through from Admiral Crix. The Council wishes to speak with you directly. They were escorted to a larger chamber where holographic projections of the council members appeared. 47 different alien species, all staring at the three humans with mixtures of fear, curiosity, and disbelief. Counselor Vex spoke first. "We have reviewed your planet's history. Is it true that you once had a war where millions died? And then the victors helped rebuild the defeated nations?" "World War II," Tom confirmed. "And yes, we rebuilt them. They're now our strongest allies." "Incomprehensible," muttered another counselor. "You forgive enemies?" "Sometimes," Tom said. "We're complicated. We can be incredibly cruel or incredibly kind. Often both in the same day." Counselor Zara leaned forward. "Your medical data shows you regularly poison yourselves with something called alcohol, yet you also perform surgery to save strangers. You jump from heights for entertainment, yet you'll risk your lives to save someone from drowning. How do you function with such contradictions?" Lisa laughed. "We don't think about it much. It's just who we are." "Show them the search and rescue footage," Bob suggested. Tom pulled up videos on his tablet, broadcasting them to the council. Humans running into burning buildings, diving into frozen lakes to save strangers, forming human chains in floods, climbing mountains to rescue stranded hikers. "This is what we do," Tom explained. "Yes, we're dangerous. Yes, we have all done a death world, but we also evolved to help each other survive it. Every human knows that we're stronger together." The council murmured among themselves. Finally, Counselor Vex asked the question they were all thinking. "If you joined the Galactic Council, what would you contribute?" "We seek peaceful trade and cultural exchange. You are ... warriors." Tom smiled. "We're not just warriors. We're explorers. Do you know what we did when we figured out how to fly? Within one human lifetime, we went from first flight to landing on our moon. Not because we had to, but because it was there." Bob added, "We've sent probes to every planet in our system. We're planning colonies on Mars, a planet that makes most of your worlds look like paradise. We don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard." "You would colonize Deathworlds?" Crix asked, astonished. "We'd love to," Lisa said enthusiastically. "Imagine the extreme sports we could invent on a high-gravity world, or the marathons we could run on a low-gravity one." The council fell silent again. These humans weren't just survivors or warriors. They were something entirely outside there. Experience a species that sought out challenges that others would flee from. Counselor Zara spoke carefully. "If we offered Earth membership in the council, with full voting rights and protected status, would you accept?" Tom looked at his companions, then back at the council. "We'd need guarantees. No interference with Earth's sovereignty. And we'd want to help with your exploration programs." "You want to explore the deadly regions of space?" Vex asked. "Especially those," Tom confirmed. Asterisk. 6 months had passed since first contact. The Varian warship, once hovering as a threat above Earth, now sat in peaceful orbit alongside humanity's first diplomatic station. Admiral Crix stood beside Tom, looking down at Earth through the observation deck. "Your people are still celebrating," Crix observed. "We tend to party hard," Tom replied. "Surviving an alien invasion calls for a big celebration." The transformation had been remarkable. Once the council understood what humans truly were, fear had transformed into fascination. The very traits that made humans terrifying in war made them invaluable in peace. "The colony ship is ready," Crix announced. "The council has approved your request to attempt settling on Kepler 442b. No other species has survived there more than a week." Tom grinned. "Volcanic activity, toxic atmosphere, carnivorous plant life, and 1.3 times Earth gravity? Sounds like vacation." Lisa entered the observation deck with a data pad. A volunteer list for the colony mission just hit 10 million. We're going to need more ships. 10 million volunteers for a death world? Crix's translator struggled with the concept. You should see the comments, Bob said, following Lisa in. People are calling it Earth 2, Extra Spicy Edition. The Council had quickly learned that humans were useful for more than just settling hostile worlds. Human rescue teams had already saved 3 mining operations in conditions that would have killed anyone else. Human engineers were teaching alien species about something called percussive maintenance, fixing things by hitting them, which horrifyingly actually worked. The Altarians want to hire human security teams, Lisa reported, after they saw our people doing something called parkour through their cities. They figured we'd be perfect for protecting their vertical cities. What about the medical exchange? Tom asked. The Council's top doctors are still in shock, Bob replied. When they learned we performed surgery by cutting people open, they nearly fainted. But now they want to learn. Apparently, our trauma medicine is centuries ahead of theirs because we've had so much practice putting humans back together. A communication came through from Earth. The screen showed General Alan Price, Tom's replacement. Tom, the UN wants you to know that we've established the Human Extreme Exploration Division. HEED for short. Volunteers only, focusing on exploring and settling the regions of space everyone else avoids. How many volunteers? Tom asked. All of them, Alan laughed. Literally every astronaut we have wants in. We're having to run lotteries. Crix made a sound his translator interpreted as amusement. 6 months ago, we came to conquer you. Now, the Council is asking if you can help explore the Dark Nebula. No ship has ever returned from there. Sounds like a challenge, Lisa said her. Eyes lighting up. The intercom buzzed with an announcement from the Council station. Attention all species. The humans have proposed something called the Deathworld Olympics. Voluntary participation in extreme environmental challenges. Medical teams standing by. Bob shook his head, laughing. Who proposed that? Australia, Tom replied. They said, if aliens think Earth is dangerous, they should try surviving the outback with just a knife and a canteen. Over the following weeks, the integration continued. Humans brought something the galaxy had never seen, a species that turned survival into an art form and danger into entertainment. The Council's perfect, peaceful society had been stagnant for millennia. Humans brought chaos, but the good kind. The kind that pushed boundaries and asked, what if? The Torgan warrior Gorth, recovered from his fight with Lisa, had requested to train with human marines. He'd return to his people teaching them something called martial arts and never give up. His people, bred for war, had found worthy. Teachers in a species that had turned warfare into science and then chose peace anyway. You know what the real irony is? Tom said, watching Earth turn below them. They thought we were weak because our technology was primitive. But we developed. Slower because we spent so much time just trying to survive our planet. And now? Crix asked. Now we have access to Council technology and the entire galaxy to explore, Lisa said. God help anything that tries to stop us. Bob pulled up a star chart. The Council's mapped maybe 15% of the galaxy. They avoided the dangerous parts. Perfect. Tom said, means we've got 85% of unexplored territory full of challenges no one else wants to face. Crix's skin shifted to a color Tom had learned meant respect. The Council asked me to formally welcome Earth to the galactic community. They also asked me to request that you please try not to break too many things. No promises, Lisa said with a grin. As the sun set over Earth's horizon, painting space in brilliant oranges and reds, Tom thought about how far they'd come. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and turned it into its greatest opportunity. You know what? Tom said. They expected to find soldiers. They got something better. What's that? Crix asked. Humans. Deathworld maniacs who think the impossible is just another Tuesday. The stars beckoned, full of danger and mystery. And humanity couldn't wait to meet them all. The end asterisk.